It started on a Tuesday. The golden retriever sat down in the hallway and would not move. They thought he had become territorial. They almost gave him away because of it. Everything they believed about that dog was wrong. Honey was 6 years old, a golden retriever of the soft-tempered variety, the kind of dog that people described as a throw pillow with a heartbeat. He had never guarded anything in his life. He had never blocked a doorway. He had never once inserted himself between a person and a destination. That was simply not who Honey was. Until Owen turned 18 months. Priya and Joel Nakashima had built their parenting approach around data. Priya was a biomedical researcher at a university hospital. Joel managed logistics for a regional healthcare network. They were the kind of people who had a pediatrician they called at night in the morning when a question could not wait. They were not anxious parents. They were precise ones. Owen was developing typically, every milestone on schedule. The pediatrician had said so at the 15-month visit. The 18-month visit was still 6 weeks away. Owen walked at 11 months. He had 40 words by 14 months. He climbed things he was not supposed to climb and ate things he was not supposed to eat. And he laughed at everything. And he slept well. And by every measure available to his parents, Owen was fine. Honey disagreed. The first time it happened, Owen was heading toward the front door at his usual lurch and trot, and Honey came from the living room and sat down directly in front of him. Owen stopped. He pointed at the dog and said a word that was almost Honey, but not quite. And then he tried to go around, and Honey shifted his body to stay in front. Owen tried to push past, and Honey sat heavier, unmovable. 104 pounds of amber fur doing absolutely nothing that looked like aggression, but absolutely refusing to let the boy pass. Priya watched from the kitchen doorway. She waited to see what would happen. Honey looked back at her once. Then he looked at Owen. Then he put his chin on Owen's shoulder very gently and did not move. The second day, it happened at the back door. Owen headed for the glass slider, and Honey was there before him, sitting sideways, blocking the full width of the opening with his body. Owen cried. Honey did not move. By the fourth day, Priya had a theory. He thinks Owen is going to fall outside. He's resource guarding the threshold. She had read about this in a veterinary behavioral study 2 years before. Large breeds sometimes fixated on exit points after a family incident near a door. But there had been no incident. She searched her memory. Nothing. Joel came home on day 5 to find Owen crying on one side of Honey and Priya on the other. Both of them talking to the dog in the careful tones of people who have been in the same argument for 40 minutes. He's not aggressive, Priya said. He just won't let Owen near any exit. Every door. He follows Owen room to room. And the moment Owen heads anywhere near an exit, he just sits down. Joel crouched in front of Honey and looked at him for a long moment. Honey looked back. Joel said, "What do you know?" Honey put his chin on Joel's knee. They called the vet the next morning. The vet came to the house on a Thursday. She was a woman named Dr. Celeste Farrow, small animal practice. 14 years, who had worked extensively with behavioral changes in family dogs post-infant arrival. She watched Honey follow Owen through the living room. Watched him position his body in the hallway doorway with that particular heaviness that was not aggression but was absolute. She said, "He's not guarding the doors. He's tracking the boy." She watched another full minute. She said, How long has Owen been favoring his right leg? The silence in that room lasted 3 seconds. Priya said, "What?" Dr. Farrow pointed. Owen was walking toward her, and his right gait was 3 millimeters off. Not enough that anyone who had not watched a child walk 6,000 times would notice. Not enough to catch in a living room. Enough that a dog who had watched Owen walk every day for 18 months would notice the change before the parents could. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you are in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Owen's pediatric orthopedic referral came back with a finding that no one in that family had suspected. A developmental hip condition, the kind that presented asymmetrically in late ambulatory toddlers, the kind that was nearly invisible until a child began walking on uneven surfaces. Untreated, it would have progressed. The asymmetry in Owen's gait was exactly 2 weeks old. Honey had noticed it before the end of the first day. Every time Owen headed for a door, Honey sat in front of him, not because he thought doors were dangerous, because Owen walked differently near thresholds. The slight elevation of stepping over a doorframe changed his gait, and that change hurt. And Honey knew it hurt. And he was doing the only thing available to a dog who cannot say the words. Don't let him go where walking hurts more. Has your dog ever done something near your child that seemed strange, until later it made complete sense? Tell us below. These stories deserve to be heard. The pediatric orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Lionel Tran, told them at the follow-up that early detection at this stage meant intervention was non-surgical. Physical therapy, a corrective brace worn 6 hours a day, a follow-up in 3 months. He said, "Caught this early? We're looking at full resolution. You caught it early." Priya did not correct him. She did not say, "We didn't catch it." She said, "Thank you." And she meant it. And on the way home, she sat in the back seat with Owen on her lap and thought about every time she had gently pushed Honey aside in the hallway. Every time she had called him territorial. Every time she had begun looking up rehoming options while the dog was sitting precisely where he needed to sit. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never ask for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Owen's brace came off after 11 weeks. The morning Priya took it off for the last time. Honey followed Owen from room to room the way he always had. Owen walked toward the back door. Honey stayed where he was. He watched Owen step over the threshold and out into the yard, and did not move to block it. He sat in the doorway instead, chin level, watching the boy cross the grass in the morning light with an even, steady gait, both sides matching, no hesitation, the way Owen was always supposed to walk. Honey exhaled once and lay down in the doorway with his muzzle on the step. The next story involves a dog who kept returning to the same corner of a room for 3 weeks, and what was hidden inside the wall.